What's going on, guys? It is Sunday, January 22nd, the day after UFC 283, Glover Teixeira versus Jamahal Hill in Brazil. I just recorded a video. What's next for Jamahal Hill and Brandon Moreno? It's actually longer than I expected. I'm gonna release it at the end of the stream. Figured I'd jump on here for a little bit. I think I streamed last Sunday as well, but I was dead tired all day. I was up till like 4 a.m. last night. And I recorded that video. I think it's about 20 minutes long because not only do I go through all the potential options for Jamahal Hill as well as Brandon Moreno, but I also give early predictions for all the fights that I mentioned in the video. So that'll be out at the end of this stream. But I figured I'd jump on here anyway, even though I did 6 hours of streaming yesterday. Yeah, so I figured I'd jump on here. We could talk some UFC 283. There's usually not a lot of coverage, MMA stuff, coverage wise on Sundays. So that's why sometimes I try to do a stream on Sunday. But whew, we did a lot last night. We did an hour. Let me look at my channel real quick. Appreciate all you guys who joined me live for all those, by the way. I know there's quite a few of you. So yesterday I did a live stream watch along. It was 5 hours long, just under 5 hours long. And then we did a hour and a half post-fight show. So that is 6.5 hours of streaming I did yesterday. But I figured I'd still jump on here today. I'm sure there's questions I probably missed in the chat. I'm sure some of you guys went to sleep in the middle of the chat. And there's a lot to discuss. But in this stream, we'll talk UFC 283 mainly. We could talk about, what's Figgy going to do next. And the next pay-per-view is not that far away. I already got to get started, I believe. Let me just double check this to make sure I'm not crazy. Yeah, the next pay-per-view is 3 weeks away from yesterday. So, yeah, so this week I actually need to get started on top 3 things I love and top 3 things I hate about UFC 284. Those should be out, I'll say Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday of this week. If you're in the Discord, I always keep you updated. If you're in the Discord, I let you guys know at 9 o'clock that I'd be doing this stream in about an hour. I recorded my video, edited my video, title, description, thumbnail, all ready to go. It's still processing. It's still processing on YouTube, but it'll be out at the end of the stream, so it'll be ready. It should be ready by the end of the stream. Standard definition is already complete. Let's see. HD's processing. Yep, it's titled, What's Next for Jamahal Hill and Brandon Moreno After UFC 283. I hope you guys will enjoy that video. I'm sure you will. What's up, Andy? What's up, Rap Addict? Yuri was exposed. I don't know what you're getting at there. What's up, Brendan? What's up, 4K? Hey, I see you in the title. I see in the title, how would you see Figgy versus Cruz going in 5 rounds? It all depends what Figgy would look like at 135 pounds. Cruz looked good even in the fight, even in the Marlon Vera fight where he got finished. I'd probably go Cruz, to be honest. But I think they're going to do Umar versus Cruz. Viva Mexico, Pero. Fair enough. The Brazil crowd was a disgraceful, bad atmosphere, made Glover retire to an empty arena. Don't go back there soon. I agree. I'm with you on that one, man. Shit was annoying. And the arena, I noticed at the beginning of throughout the card, it was never full. So I wonder what's going on there. I guess, Figgy and Glover aren't as big as stars in Brazil as guys like Anderson Silva and Vitor Belfort were. But yeah, the crowd in Brazil kind of made it, disgraceful of themselves. What's up, Sobro? What's up, JJ Smoke? Yeah, the treatment of Moreno wasn't good. How do you see Craig versus Reyes going? I think Reyes would win that one, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Reyes' chin is completely gone. His hairline looks like getting towards Neil Magny territory. Paul Craig just holds on to legs for dear life. I'd go Reyes, but I think that's the fight to make. I do think that's the fight to make. Match make a fight for Bonfin brother that KO'd McKinney. Let's see if UFC World Rankings is working again, or it's completely off. Nope. It's not working. Damn it, this was my go-to. Oh, it's working. Okay, it's working. Okay, he's in the lightweight division. Whew. Let me go to UFC. I'm in total. Who would I like to see the Bonfin lightweight brother fight next? I wouldn't mind seeing him against maybe a Jim Miller or a Claudio Puelles just to get another win under his belt. I also wouldn't mind seeing him against Drakkar Klose. Or, I don't know if he's going to want to take it because he's kind of been calling up to fight someone in the rankings. Bonfin versus Drew Dober. That's a banger. You know? Paddy Pimblett ain't getting that fight. Is Bonfin even in the top 100? Let's see if he's even ranked. He's not even on this list of 100 yet, but he will be. He will be Ismail Bonfin. So if I'm making the fights, if I'm the UFC, I'll book him against Claudio Puelles just because I hate Puelles and I want to see him get beat up again. If you really want to build Bonfin, let him beat up Paddy Pimblett, but they're not going to do that. If you want to take a quick route to the top 15 or get close, let him fight Drew Dober. I think he beat Drew Dober too. The skills that he showed were incredible. So, Drew Dober's my final answer. Hill versus Yuri, who would you take? I'm going to hold off answering that one. It's in my video. I discussed it in my video. That's going to be out in an hour or so. But that's a very good fight, and I absolutely love that matchup. People were joking right away about Figgy Moreno 5. Some people were serious. Joey, how will you remember Glover Teixeira's career? I'll remember him as a dude that came in and was beating dudes to death. I'll never forget what he did to Kyle Kingsbury in his debut. I believe that was at UFC. What pay-per-view was that at? It was like a May pay-per-view, I think. It was Glover Teixeira versus Kyle Kingsbury. I think the main event of that card was Frank Mir Jr. dos Santos. But what card was it? I'm going to say it was UFC 160. That's going to be my final answer. UFC 160 was like May or June of like 2012, 2013. Let's see if I'm right. Let me go look it up right this second. Kyle Kingsbury. UFC 146. I was dead wrong. It was Dos Anjos versus Mir. And I knew Kane versus Bigfoot as well. But it was May of 2012. Dude, he wrecked Kyle Kingsbury. Then he brutalized Fabian Maldonado. Then he beat Quentin Rampage Jackson, who came back and he was in a lawsuit with Bellator and the UFC, and he came back. That was an interesting, spot in time that nobody remembers. Then he settled and went back to Bellator. Glover is a guy that was one of the elite for a while, and I'm glad at one point he got to hold the undisputed title. That's how I'll remember him. Is it just me or did the arena look half full yesterday? It looked half full. What's up, GP? What's up, Homework? Do you like Johnny Walker fight for Rockage when he returns? Sign me up. That sounds pretty good to me. It kind of makes sense, too. I hadn't really thought of that matchup too much. How many people are in there? What are you talking about? What's up, Patty Mills? Yo, did you see Yuri said he's coming for Jamahal vid? Yes, I did, but we'll see. We'll see if that actually happens because I think Yuri's going to... And Yuri thought he was going to fight at 282 after he injured his shoulder. Thanks for the post-fight stream. I hope you enjoyed it, Patty. I hope you enjoyed it. So we get winner of Zudo Sterling versus O'Malley and winner Cheeto Sandhagen versus winner Jan Marab. We can have O'Malley versus Cheeto 2 for the title at the end of 2023. It's possible, but there's a lot of variables that have to come into play for that. Anthony Smith versus Jan. Who do you got? I'd probably take Jan. But Anthony Smith could probably out-grapple him in the later rounds. Figgy gets beat by everyone in the top 5 at 135. Agreed. Yuri's not as good as Hill. Yuri got handled by an old man for a few rounds. That's an interesting way to look at it, but Yuri took years off of Glover's life in that fight, and also Yuri was super reckless. The knee Bonfin landed on McKinney was wild, especially considering his mouthpiece was off. Yeah, he's lucky he didn't break some teeth. It landed on like the neck, chin area. I think they should lower the ticket sales if UFC goes to third, second world countries. Okay, I'm sure they do. What's up, Killa? What's going on? Yo, did you see Charles versus Darius got the contracts? Who do you favor? Is that even um yeah, I haven't seen that information. I've seen Charles saying somebody needs a sign, but it's not guaranteed that that's the fight. But maybe you've seen something I didn't. But nonetheless, who do I favor? Honestly, I probably favor Dariush at this point. But I don't know. It might be Oliveira. That fight's so hard to pick. That fight is so hard to pick. Because I've been a big believer in Oliveira for a long, long time. But Beneil looks so good lately. Hill long reigning champion. It's possible. It's possible. Hill versus Pereira. That'd be a savage matchup. Remember when people were saying Terrence was going to destroy Patty? Terrence still would destroy Patty. Would you rather watch an all-women's fight night or the Super Bowl? Depends the matchups. I need to know the matchups. After middleweight, the skill drop off is crazy. Hill is trash at fighting, and he's the champ. Number 15 bantamweight could easily beat the champ. That is kind of true. I understand what you're saying. Late, but if it hasn't been asked yet, how do you feel about Islam not having Khabib in his corner? Is it official that he's not going to be in his corner? I know he said he's retiring from coaching, but I feel like he will still be in his corner. Will you watch Jose Aldo's boxing fight in February? Maybe. 50-50 chance. Yeah, Hill versus Yuri would be very interesting, especially now Hill's performance last night. Agreed. What's up, Parkour? Could you make a small argument for Glover getting in the 5th round? Had it 49-45. Yes, I think that was the only round you possibly could give to Glover. How does Burns versus Bilal go and Burns versus Covington? I feel like Burns probably wins both of them, but I don't trust Burns' chin. I'll take Burns over Covington, and I'll say Burns over Bilal, but Bilal could make it interesting because he has some decent power in his hands. How would Bobby Green versus Michael Johnson go? Both guys are super inconsistent, so it'd be a coin flip. Hi, Joey. I need some advice. I want to watch MMA Joey right now on the TV, but my fiance doesn't want to. Should I tell her to get out of the room so I can watch the most handsome MMA YouTuber ever? Yeah, just tell her to leave. If she don't like it, she can go to hell. Does Ankalaev run this division? No, he does not. Hill versus Ankalaev, Yuri versus Jan, and Yuri versus Ankalaev predictions. Hill versus Ankalaev, Hill, Yuri versus Jan. That's a bad matchup for Yuri. I'll say Yuri, but I could see Jan brutally KOing him. And Yuri versus Ankalaev, I'm going Yuri over Ankalaev. Anyway, you see Armin beating Dustin. Yes, it could happen. Could happen, but I favor Dustin in that matchup. Terrence will still destroy Patty, bro. Pimlet's on another level of bad. Agreed. Super Bowl all day. Gordon versus Green prediction. I'll go Bobby Green. Ismail Bonfin couldn't have had a better debut. I agree 150%. Not going to lie, it's kind of embarrassing light heavyweight division that Hill's the champion. Dude, Hill looks pretty good. I don't know why people are clowning on him a little bit too much. I think Hill's good, just because his body type. Because he's like, a skinny fat guy. Leave the man alone. He looked great. Sergey Pavlovich hinted on his Twitter he'll be fighting Curtis Blades in April. I will send a screenshot in the Discord. Fair enough. Do it. That's the only matchup to make. I think I saw it. Enough of the Hill slander. Y'all act like being UFC champ is easy in any stretch of the imagination. Exactly. You act like he won it via DQ. Bilal versus Covington predictions. At this point, I'm picking everyone over Covington. Covington's sitting out. He's in a safe house. Probably not even training. I'm going Bilal. Brutal KO for Bilal. Remember when Goat said McKinney knockout was fake? Yeah, dude. It's a clown take. Hill's a good champ. You see what he just did to Glover? I agree. People were underestimating Hill going into the fight. And look what he was able to do. You see what he did to Glover? Yep. I think that Jalton Almeida is a level of the top of the division. Pavlovich, John, Jones. Too early to tell. Jailton Almeida's fought nothing but bums. Look, I like Jailton Almeida. I think he looks good. I think he's a freak athlete. But let's not forget the fact that he's fought all bums, okay? He's dominated them, which means something, but he's fought all bums. So let's calm down the Jailton Almeida hype. Who are people you see Jailton Almeida losing to in the top 15? Depends. Are you talking about heavyweight? He'd lose to Cyril Gane, most likely. Lose to Jones, most likely. Lose to Pavlovich, maybe. He'd definitely lose to Curtis Blades, I think. And there you go. Maybe he beats... The heavyweight division isn't that good. So maybe he beats the rest. He beats Derek Lewis. Hill can be long reigning champion. I agree. It's possible. Patty Mills, thank you for the $10 dono. My mom's card is maxed out. Sorry, Joey. It's no big deal, man. I appreciate your super chat. I appreciate your kind donation to the channel, Patty Mills. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate it, man. Max out that mom's credit card. I like how we have a bunch of inside jokes that as the channel grows, next thing you know, we're at 10,000. Next thing you know, we're at 15,000 subscribers. There's going to be like these little inside jokes that if you weren't here early, you don't even know about. So that's one of the jokes, the mom's credit card joke. Yuri's overrated. Maybe. I don't really think so, but maybe. Yo, Joey, what's up? Thanks for all the streams lately. Do you think that flying knee KO will affect McKinney's chin going forward? I'm super high on him. Thought he'd get to the top of the division. It definitely may very well. It may very well affect his chin. You don't know until we see him in his next fight. But that was such a nasty strike. So maybe he takes some time off, he recovers, and comes back and looks better than ever. But Bonfim made him look average. Made him look really average. How do you think Davison does moving up to 35? I think he loses to most 135 pounders. Heavyweight is so trash. Heavyweight's always been the worst division in the UFC for a long time. Heavyweight's always been atrocious. Yeah, so it's just been something that it's hard to find. Most guys that are that size and athletic are doing other sports, whether it be football, basketball, whatever it may be. Alex Pereira will brutally KO Hill. May very well. Alex Pereira is such an elite striker. Cracker Whacker, if Yuri doesn't come back, who will be the light heavyweight champ at the end of the 2023? Jamahal Hill will be. Do you dislike Glover? How can you dislike Glover? Yeah, I don't know how you can dislike Glover. Patty Mills donated like 100 last week. Yeah, he probably did. Probably at least 50, 75 maybe. Something like that. That's why I appreciate it. Twizzy, I think that was, there was two Twizzies, so I don't know. Maybe you too was donating some good donations as well. I always appreciate them. Paul Craig, the best light heavyweight in the world. Yeah, because Paul Craig has a win over Jamahal Hill. I agree, Joey, about Jailton. I also feel like he has more competitive matchups in light heavyweight in the top of the heavyweight division, in my opinion. Yeah, I definitely want to see him get serious, in terms of fighting legit competition. He's kind of just been fighting, lackluster competition for a bit, and dominating them. Selective matchmaking for sure by the UFC. Start sending the 500 super chats on your mom's credit card before Joey blows up and won't even read the 500s anymore. Can you imagine getting to a point where you can't read the $500 donations? I'm going to shit myself one day when I get a $500 donation. I'm not even going to know what to say. Like, I'm going to be shook. And one day it's bound to happen. I was confused as hell when I got a $200 donation one time. Don't forget he was wearing the mouthpiece either when McKinney took that knee. I know, but luckily it didn't hit him in the mouth. So he was all right, but still not good. After the fight, there's a face-off between Pereira and Hill. It would be a banger if the UFC makes that fight happen. It would be. It would be. I actually talk about that matchup in my video that will be coming out at the end of this stream. That's why Jones is the GOAT. Okay. Let's not forget about the refs last night. Yeah, the refs were making terrible decisions. The Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Jailton Almeida fight was a terrible stoppage. I feel like the ref could have stopped it in the main event as well. And there's probably other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head. Have you gotten vertigo before? Luckily, no. Can you imagine if Walker somehow manages to fight up to a chance at the title? Dude, it's possible. You look at the division right now, it's in a weird position. So it's definitely possible to happen. It's definitely possible to happen. You never know. Let's see what we got here. Whoa. Is McKinney a wrestler originally? McKinney's a wrestler slash like brawler, power striker. But yeah, he's supposed to be known as a decent wrestler. Didn't look good yesterday. He tried for takedowns, wasn't able to get them. Bonfin looked super well rounded. Bonfin looked incredibly well rounded. Stuffed the takedowns, was lighting him up on the feet. McKinney wanted to grapple and just wasn't able to even get takedowns. So I don't know. Let me take a look. Who would you book Terrence McKinney against next? Maybe you book him against Claudio Puelles. Yeah, maybe you book him against Claudio Puelles. Get him back on the winning track. Or you could book him against, I'm trying to see someone coming off a loss. Vince Pichel, Mark Madsen, even. Imagine they book him against Diego Fajeda. That's a possibility. There's a bunch of options for McKinney to get a win. If I'm the UFC, I'd book him against Claudio Puelles and get him back on the winning track. It's crazy on this MMA World Rankings, Matt Frevola is ranked above him because Matt Frevola has gone out there and got 2 decent wins. Meanwhile, McKinney lost. McKinney lost 2 out of his last 4. 2 out of his last 3. Same thing. That's pretty nuts. What's up, Fries? What's going on, my friend? Barstool Sports disrespecting fighters, posting Terrence McKinney knockout is insane to me. Trash promotion that Dave Portnoy guy is like a Patty Boot. Dude, Barstool Sports is the TMZ of sports. Some people like them. I think they're corny. And I don't pay attention to Barstool. I hope they go out of business, to be honest. Because it's just it's just always seeing dumb shit from them. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't want to go out of business. I don't want people to lose their jobs. But you get my point. I just ignore the shit. I don't want to see any coverage from them. They're basically like a frat boy TMZ sports coverage. You know, it's not meant to be taken seriously, in my opinion. So I think it's weird. I think it's weird that they act like a teenage, basically a teenage boy on social media. But I saw that. I even tweeted at them. They tweeted out basically, Terrence McKinney gets knocked out cold just hours after claiming Barstool didn't know sports. I said if this was Patty, they'd claim it was an early stoppage. Barstool's the definition of garbage TMZ version of sports coverage. Yeah. It's frat boy TMZ sports coverage. That's all it is. It's aimed at 15 to 20-year-old men. And I mean, there's a place for it. I'm sure some people love it. I can't imagine waking up every day and be like, I got to go to Barstool, barstool.com. And besides, I feel like they do like fake gambling. They post, yeah, I've gambled $50K on Patty Pimlet. Well, wait a second. It's on your own gambling site. So how did you gamble $50K? So a lot of shitty stuff. I feel like one day those something will come out about those guys over there, and that shit will probably go down the drain. They are trash for normies. Patty might want to take that McKinney fight now, even though I still think McKinney sleeps him. Yeah, I think now it would be more likely, but I still doubt it happens. Yeah, I think Terrence McKinney would still sleep Patty Pimlet, to be quite honest. Joey wants them boys gone. Well said. Joey, what's up, dude? What's up, Benji? Barstool sucks. Yo, Joey, thoughts on UFC debutante? Trying to get me to say, holy fuck. Oh my God, that's so funny. There you go. I saw it a mile away. I read it anyway. Cool, bro. Look, I don't care about like dumb shit like that. Like, okay, you want me to say a dumbass cuss word. I cuss. Okay, cool. But the shit's just corny and it's not funny. Okay. So I get it. You're 12-year-old. I shouldn't even gave you the satisfaction of saying it for you. But shit's corny. Don't do that anymore. It's dumb. It's just not funny. Look what I just posted random in Discord. Solid. Even though when I first started watching MMA at 13, I knew Barstool Sports was garbage. Yeah, they've always been garbage. They're literally the definition of TMZ. TMZ for sports. I don't even know who Caleb Presley is. What's up, Billy? What's going on? McKinney didn't even try. I mean, Bonfin was just on another level, to be quite honest. I think Bonfin was on another level. Just looked unstoppable in that fight, to be quite honest. X out of that, X out of that, X out of that. Bonfin looked incredible. Skills look really good. Patty once claimed that he would have given Oliveira a tougher fight, or Islam a tougher fight. Dude, Patty's an idiot. Joey, I know it's early, but what is your fight of the year and other year and submission of the year? I don't even remember. I couldn't even tell you what was the best fight of the year so far. I'm not even sure. I don't remember what fight that was like, oh my God, this fight was incredible so far. Have you seen that Volk and Islam stare down? Yeah, shit's corny. Doesn't get me hyped. The stare downs are just something to appeal to like casuals and promotion. I went to UFC 279 and was impressed with Walker's performance. He's a giant and carries a lot of power. Only downside is his chin. Yeah, his chin is terrible. His coach, John Kavanaugh, is terrible. That pose he did after he won the fight was terrible. Yeah, so I think Walker, he's super powerful. He is a giant. I thought he may be the future of the light heavyweight division when I seen him come in and like beat up Justin Ledet and stuff like that. But after I seen what Corey Anderson did to him, I know Johnny Walker should probably never fight for a title in his career. But with the division in the state it's in now, it's possible. Yo, Joey, someone on Chael's live stream earlier was asking about his opinion on you. You got it. What did he say? He probably doesn't even know the channel. I mean, the channel's still small. But let me know. You guys got to send me timestamps of this stuff. You're always saying, half the time people are making up shit. Like, hey, did you see so-and-so was talking shit about you? And they're making up shit. But sometimes you guys are actually telling the truth. So if you guys see shit like that, you got to send me a timestamp. Or send it to me on Instagram. Caleb is funny. He does the Sunday conversation. I don't even know what that is. I literally pay no attention to stuff that I just don't care about at all. I just completely ignore it. I've talked about that before. Everyone used to talk about First Take and dumbass Skip Bayless. Never, ever, ever would I talk about that shit ever. Because I just don't care. The Brazil crowd was disappointing. Expects it more of a pop for Walker and Gilbert. Yeah, the Brazilian crowd was lackluster for sure. They came off looking like absolute shit. Throwing shit at Brandon Moreno. Half the arena was empty before it even started. And then they left before the main event. And, you know, Glover's retiring to an empty arena. Jamahal Hill's reaching his dreams in an empty arena. So it was a bizarre moment. Heartbreaking for Glover to see him retire to an empty arena. And heartbreaking to see Jamahal Hill win his title in front of an empty arena. But interesting nonetheless. Nobody from Barstool is funny. I've probably, in my entire life, the only thing I've seen from Barstool is some Dana White interviews, which have been okay. Man, 283 was the best card of the year so far. Dude, shut the fuck up. Do you think Amavov corner's trash? Who was in his corner? I don't even remember. I don't think Imavov is as good as people think he is. That's why I picked Sean Strickland. There's holes in his game, and Sean Strickland on a week's notice exploited it. We are in January. There's barely any cards I know. There's only been 2. Johnny Walker's post-win pose is my new Twitter banner. Stop it. Stop it. Let me go look at this right now. Let me see if I can find you real quick. I found it. That shit, I mean, these dudes holding his ankles. These dudes holding his ankles should be embarrassed of themselves. I mean, they should be straight up embarrassed of themselves. I can't believe you put that as your banner. No wonder, all I got to say is no wonder Conor McGregor has the type of likes he has on Twitter. They both train with John Kavanaugh. I think we can put 2 and 2 together, if you ask me. Do you think Jones versus Pereira could happen eventually? No. Jones is fighting at heavyweight. Pereira's fighting at middleweight. May eventually go to light heavyweight. My nose is itching like crazy. I don't think we ever see Jones versus Pereira. And let me just say this. Even if Jones is like 70% of what he once was, Jones would wreck Pereira badly. It'd be a first-round TKO, ground and pound elbow stoppage by Johnny Bones Jones. Skip is horrible. That he is. Joey, did you catch Niners versus Cowboys? I did not. Yeah, he didn't know who an MMA Joey is, but still good to hear your name. It seems like it's crazy. I mean, it seems like every chat someone's always telling me, "Oh, so and so said this about you. So and so says that about you." So it is semi interesting how small the MMA community can be. But I figured that. Hey Joey, did you see what God said about you? What a savage. Yeah, I did. I did see that. The show was super late. I don't even know what you're talking about. Hey Joey, joining late. You probably covered this already, but what fight do you think is next for Hill? I did an entire video on it with 3 possible options. It's not out yet. I'm going to release it at the end of this stream. I'm going to stream for a little while longer, and then I'm going to release it. I recorded it right before I jumped on here. It's 21 minutes long. It's about Jamahal Hill and Brandon Moreno. And I will release it. You guys will be the first to see it. I'll post a link in the stream. So we all know the options, though. It's either Yuri Prohaska or Magomed Ankalaev or Jan Blachowicz. But I talk about all those options in the video. So just check it out as soon as we end the stream. Alfie boy. I don't understand how hundreds on tickets and then leave before the main event because you got your feelings hurt that your fighter's lost. Some people just aren't smart, okay? Some people go to events and get, fucked up drunk before the main event even happens. They don't remember shit. So you got to remember, I hate to say it to a group of MMA fans, but MMA fans are not the most intelligent fan base. I mean, they're maybe a step above NASCAR fans at best. So I feel bad saying that because I'm talking to a group of MMA fans. MMA fans aren't the smartest in general. And on top of that, Brazilian fans, I mean, they're hyper nationalistic. So they're pissed when their fighters lose. But to leave before the main event when you have a fighter from Brazil fighting in the main event is just crazy. But I guess you could call them smart because now they didn't have to watch Glover get bludgeoned to death by Jamahal Hill for 5 rounds. Johnny Walker has serious bisexual energy after Saturday. Fair enough. I wouldn't even call it that. I would call it something else, but I'm not going to get into that. I really hope Volk pulls it off. I think Volk will put up a good fight either way. Yeah, it's crazy how there's no hype for Makhachev versus Volk. The more I think about it, the more excited I get for it. Volk could be the guy to beat Makhachev. I just wish he was a little bit bigger. I just think he's going to be undersized against Volkanovski. Or undersized against Makhachev. I'm dumb. I said the wrong name. Have you thought on streaming on Twitch? No, I have never thought of streaming on Twitch. What's up, Anthony? I just looked up the Walker pose. What the F? I didn't see it live, so I just found out. Yeah. For those of you who didn't see the Johnny Walker pose, let me pull it up real quick. This shit is wild. Look at that. Look at that. All right, where was I at? Hill takes Yuri, right? I wouldn't be so sure about that one. I wouldn't be so sure. Hill, Yuri is the fight to make. Alex Pete against either one of them down the line would be good. Agreed. Had a watch party and was paying attention to the post-fight interviews. Oh, so you missed? How'd you miss the split, though? How dare that guy Fortnite emote on Shogun? Supposedly he was showing him respect, but still terrible look for him. Terrible look for him. Volk is going to shock the world like Jamahal did last night. Jamahal shocked the world last night? I picked Jamahal. I don't think he shocked the world. I mean, I think it was 50-50. Fury called for 4. Dude, I don't care about Fury and Ngannou, really. I mean, I'll maybe tune in, but I'm not a boxing fan. So even though I have support Ngannou, I'm not really into boxing. So I don't really care. Have you gotten your computer yet? Supposedly it was supposed to be shipped out on Thursday. I don't have the tracking yet, so I'm not 100% sure. But it should be. I'm thinking it's coming in the next couple of days. I actually got to send an email and see, did they forget to send me the tracking? Because there was a problem with the motherboard compatibility with some RGB or something like that. And I had to make a decision on that maybe late last week. Like not Thursday, Friday that just passed, but the previous one. And then I was looking up the new motherboard that I wanted, and then I ended up emailing them back, and then they said, okay, we'll work on it, and we'll get it shipped out on Wednesday or Thursday. So it should be shipped out. It should be here this week. I'm hoping, because it's been forever. I think they said 4 to 6 weeks. It's now, I think, been 7. So I'm like a week over, I think. I think that's what the time frame was. I think I ordered it the beginning of December. And they said 4 to 6 weeks. So it's not far off, and I don't care, it is what it is. But it is one of those things where you spend, $4,500 and you're like, oh damn, I just want to get it yet. But I haven't been trying not to think about it. Just because I do want to get it. I got to set everything up. I got to download my new editing software. I got to re-log into everything. I got to set up my desktop. I got to transfer all the files I have on my computer to my new computer. I'm actually kind of dreading it in a way. I'm excited, but I'm also dreading it. I got to set up all my OBS scenes again. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to save me a lot of time on the rendering. Going to save me a lot of time, in general, just streamlining, making videos, editing them. I can make thumbnails while I'm rendering videos, 4K videos, and not have it kind of be like laggy and choppy. So, and this is the perfect week to get it because we essentially have 2 weeks off. Because Spivak versus Lewis is garbage. I'm not even watching that piece of shit. So they shouldn't have. So I have plenty of time. I'm going to take everything off my desk, reconfigure everything, decide if I want to keep my laptop over here now since my computer's going off to the right. And then I kind of want to scoot my desk back, and I want to eventually see if I can mount a TV on this wall. But I might just get a different monitor. They came out with an OLED monitor I might buy. But it's kind of expensive, so I'm debating about it or if I want to get it or not. But I'm excited. It should be fun. I'll let you know. I'll post in the Discord, Fight Life. When I get it, I'll post in the Discord. I'm looking forward to getting it. So it's going to look pretty sick too. It's going to be amazing. I'm super excited for it too. They shouldn't have gone to Brazil right now considering all the BS going on over there. I mean, UFC's just looking to make a buck. Haha, like what prompts a man to do a pose like that? To be honest, as weird as it was, if I was a UFC fighter, I'd definitely be doing weird shit like that. Just to, get everyone talking about it. What the fuck is this guy doing? So, Johnny Walker is kind of a flamboyant guy, Remember the dance he did after beating up some dude and he injured his shoulder? He did the worm last night. I really don't see how Volk wins the fight outside of a flash KO. Can't use his leg kicks against Islam due to the takedown threat. And Islam's takedowns, variety, and control are just too much. It has to be outpointing him. Just outstriking him, managing the distance. But it's going to be it's a tough ask for Volk to go out there and beat Islam Makhachev for sure. Johnny spread those legs more, more than most girls could. Dude got deep on that split. It was basically a midair split. If Volk beats Islam, I will be shocked. I think the reason there's no hype because it won't be very competitive. I think it'll be more competitive than people are giving it credit for. Johnny gone off the CBD again. PCP again. It's been a while since Johnny Walker did something crazy in public. I guess so. If it goes late with Jan, Hill's going to get his legs destroyed. Dude, Jan has some of the best leg kicks in the game, for sure. I picked Jamahal as well as Moreno. Fair enough. I'm just surprised Jamahal didn't KO him. That's the only thing that's surprising to me. I thought for sure he was going to KO him. Whether it was first or second round, I thought he'd find the finish. And after I was watching the first round, I said, oh, yep, he's going to finish him. If Volk beats Islam, he has a solid GOAT case. Agreed. He's already the 45 GOAT, to be honest. You think Bones could maintain 205 movement while moving up to heavyweight? Probably not. I don't think so. I think there's no hype for Volk versus Islam because the card is just horrible. Parker Porter on the main card. They can't expect us to pay $90 for that. Dude, UFC 284 is looking terrible since we lost Kai Kara France versus Alex Perez and Whitaker versus Costa. Card is looking atrocious. I mean, Jack Della Maddalena, Randy Brown featured fight. Terrible, 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 terrible. All the hype for 285, male GOAT fighter and female GOAT fighter on the same card. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 285. Maybe everyone's looking past 284 to 285. I'm just hyped to see John Jones return. February 18th is going to be good. Vera versus Sandhagen and Santos versus Blanchfield. That is a solid card. I just wish it wasn't at the Apex. Hope Gon pulls it off. He can do it for sure. We don't know what John Jones is going to look like. We don't know what Jones is going to look like. We know what Gon should look like. So he can definitely pull it off. I bet on RoboCop losing sick KO for the new dude. That was the most shocking performance of last night. Most shocking performance. Joey, Google Knee Night. It's a website where you can download multiple programs at once. It's a lifesaver for a new PC setup. Even like, because I gotta download like Photoshop, Filmora, OBS, Adobe Premiere Pro. I can download all that through that. Johnny Walker's a fun personality. Fair enough. What's up, Joey? What's going on, Vince? Don't you think Stipe deserved to fight for Jones to fight John for the heavyweight title for some reason doesn't like him? No, Stipe's willingly sitting out for 3 years while he's healthy. He can go fight fires for all I give a shit. I love Johnny Walker. He is a real funny dude. I wonder if he got thrown out of the arena this time. Yeah, I forgot about him walking around Vegas. Him walking around Vegas with the gloves still on. Johnny Walker and Jordan Levitt probably hang out and do weird poses. Y'all shitting on Jordan Levitt, dude. Leave the man alone. I imagine your followers have an higher IQ than an average MMA fan. I'd like to think so, but you never know. You never know. We probably got some NASCAR boys in here. I'm sure we got some NASCAR boys. Dale Earnhardt. The earth is flat. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Yeah, I'm sure we got some of those boys in here. Makhachev. We've seen some sketchy things at UFC 283. That position that Jalton Almeida was in with Shamil Abdurakhimov was awfully suspicious, if you ask me. And there was a couple positions where dude was being, I think it was the Jalton Almeida fight as well as the Glover. Was it Glover Jamahal Hill? Where they were literally riding him like a bull. Riding him like a bull. Yeah, those fuckers and their TikTok dances look corny. Shit is going to get dated quick. Yeah, I hate that shit. Did they confirm Nunes versus Aldana? Looks like it won't be at 285. I've seen that it's probably not going to be anymore. So, I don't know anymore. That's why I said it was unconfirmed when I did my video on it. It might not do all the programs, but most you need. I'll keep that in mind. If Nunes versus Aldana doesn't happen, what other fight could they add to the main card? Dominic Cruz, Usman Nurmagomedov. Johnny Walker is the funniest guy in UFC. Derek Lewis is number 2. I've never even really listened to Johnny Walker talk too much. I'm rooting for O'Malley versus Huda to be added to 285. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen, my friend. Haha, he talking about the GOAT. What's up, MMA Joey? It's Anthony back again watching the stream, and I personally think Gon is harder matchup for Jones because of Gon's movement and striking. I agree. But he doesn't have to worry about the nuclear power. So there's different pros and cons for Jones versus Gon versus Jones versus Ngannou. But Gon is definitely a little bit trickier in terms of what he does striking. But Ngannou has that power, and also Ngannou has that freakish power, and Ngannou has improved wrestling, and he's massive, and he's strong, and he's heavy as hell. Joe, what do you think my intelligence level is regarding that I'm an MMA fan? For you, I don't know. I don't know. Seems all right. I mean, seems like maybe like 2 notches above NASCAR. You probably used to be a NASCAR fan when you were young. You probably I don't know, man. I don't know how to answer that one. I like Stipe, but crazy how people forget about him. I think it's because he's hard to understand. Dude, Stipe is like Boomhauer. Is literally the definition of Boomhauer from King of the Hill. Heavyweight title. John Jones. I'm coming back, fireman. Fire truck. Dude, Stipe is literally Boomhauer from King of the Hill. Last time Volk won by submission was 7 years ago. 2 out of 7 fights he's won by KO, TKO. Last time Islam was KO'd was 7 years ago. You do the math. Islam all day. Volk could win by decision, my friend. How badly was the beating Glover took, in your opinion? Even though Glover fighting always damaging, I think he got damaged real bad. I think he took a lot of damage. If I was Glover's friend and I was in his corner, I would have stopped the fight. And I wouldn't have gave a shit. He took way too much damage in that fight. I think that's going to affect his life permanently. That's something that's going to be with him for the rest of his life. It was a bad, bad beatdown. It was damn near on the scale of Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar from years ago. Hey, Joey, did you follow any sports before you started watching MMA? I used to watch football religiously. I watch baseball casually. I watch hockey casually. But right now, pretty much all I do is watch MMA. I don't got no time for anything else. So, you think O'Malley would sell a lot of pay-per-views if he became champ? It's possible, but it's unknown at this point. Could they match Curtis Blades for 285? I doubt it, but it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. Curtis Blades is going to fight Sergey Pavlovich. I don't think it happens in March. I think it happens probably in late March or early April. Remember when I predicted that 280 was going to be mid? No, you didn't. You said it was mid on paper, and you were dead wrong. I'd hate to have been a foreign fighter on the card last. Imagine you getting jabbed while you're in an arena filled with charged, sweaty Brazilian fans. You will die. I guess some people like that shit. Joey, do you think they'll have Sterling versus Cejudo headline 287? If they do, I'm predicting UFC 288 will be Adesanya Pereira. No, I think the main event of 287 will be Adesanya Pereira. I think the co-main event will be Sterling Cejudo. I have a video on that on the channel. I forgot what video it is though. It's not titled that or anything. It's something else where I discuss. I can't remember which video it was. It was recently though. It might have been the Merab Piotr Yan video maybe. I don't know. I don't know what video it was anymore. It might have been the real reason Francis Ngannou left the UFC. It was either that or the Merab Yan video kind of talking about the UFC schedule in general. But I think Adesanya versus Pereira will headline UFC 287. I believe that will be in Brooklyn, New York in April. They usually go to New York in April. Hello, mate. You reckon Pantoja beats Moreno again? Cheers from Chile. What's up, Joe from Chile? I don't know, man. Pantoja looks better than ever. Moreno looks better than ever. I'm 50-50 on it. But I give a hard answer in the video I'm about to release. I talk about Pantoja Moreno, and I make an early prediction for it. But I'll tell you this. In my video where I said champions who will lose their belts in 2023, I said Pantoja beats Moreno for the belt in that video. But I talk about it more in depth in the video I'm going to release at the end of this stream. How does Lauren Murphy get main card pay-per-view fights? I don't know what she's doing. I guess they feel bad for her. Maybe she's had a hard life. Blades versus Stipe is a dream fight. Dude, Stipe don't want to fight for no one but fight for the title. I think it was a worse than Max Kattar, mostly because Hill is much more of a power puncher than Max. You could make that argument, and I'd be sympathetic to it. Guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already liked the stream, do me a favor and like the stream. If you're watching and you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate that as well. Run up the likes on the stream. What do you think went wrong for Glover in that fight? He's just too old. Too old, too slow. The entries to the takedowns have never been good. They've always been slow, telegraphed. Took a lot of damage in the Yuri fight. And Jamahal Hill is just a very good striker and has good power. Lewis versus Spivak, who wins and how? I'll say Spivak TKO. But honestly, it's just a garbage fight. I don't care. Lauren Murphy pulled a Chris Mondino. Basically, it's crazy she was ranked number 4. The beating Glover took made the one Murphy look tolerable. Dude, Lauren Murphy got the shit beat out of her as well. That was nasty. Jessica Andrade was just whooping her ass from start to finish. Yeah, I mean, dude, there were some bad beatings on the card. Dude, why was Paul Craig getting brutally KO'd? I'm looking at a highlight right now. Dude was getting brutally lit up with shots, and dude was just hanging onto a leg for dear life. Like, why wouldn't he just let go of the leg and start defending his face? Dude, but that's crazy. Walker was on one leg just smashing him with hammer fist. Smashes him in the right hand. I don't know why he wouldn't. I have no idea why he wouldn't let go of the leg and start blocking. The beating. Okay, read that. Figgy versus Dom Cruz prediction. I'm taking Dominic Cruz. I don't think Figgy beats a lot of guys at 35. What's up, Joey? What's up, Bitsy? That Yuri Prohaska video kind of weirded me out. Dude kept yelling in comments. Yeah, suspicious. Guru rubbed me the wrong way when he mocked Brandon Moreno's accent last night in his stream as a Mexican. F that dude. Fair enough. That Glover beating is one of the worst in UFC's histories. It's up there. It's up there for sure. It was pretty brutal. It's just a lot of consecutive damage, you know, and we know what kind of power Jamahal Hill has. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of brain damage and CTE going Glover's way for sure. Yeah, Murphy's beating was insane for sure. He could have just retreated too. Where does Terrence McKinney go from here? Claudio Puelles. Yeah, his opponent was making his UFC debut, but he looks very, very good. Ismail Bonfim. Terrence McKinney's going to get a bounce back fight against like a Claudio Puelles who drags his ass against the carpet. And I think Terrence McKinney will get a fight, very winnable fight in his next fight. Either Jessica Andrade became a goddess in the striking, or Lauren Murphy isn't as good as we thought. Now, Lauren Murphy isn't as good as, I mean, she's about as good as I thought. I thought she'd get shit beat out of her. Lauren Murphy's always been garbage. I mean, she beat Miesha Tate, who was retired for like 10 years and then came back at 55. That was old school Walker before starting to lose. Super dynamic and unique striking with nasty power. Paul Craig has terrible fight IQ. That's because all he's thinking about is if I can get him down, I can submit him. If I can get him down, I can submit him. I got him. So that's why he hangs on to limbs with desperation. Because he knows if he can get him down, he can submit him. I'm feeling Garbrandt versus Cruz rematch just to try to revive one of their careers. Yeah, I don't think either one of their careers is ever going to be revived. Yuri's a weirdo, that's for sure. Who would you book Walker with next? I think the Rockets fight could be fun. I think Anthony Smith would make a lot of sense. Walker, Anthony Smith is what I would book probably. You don't think Figgy can be successful at 135? No. The division's too stacked. I don't know, though, because without him having to make the weight cut, maybe he drastically improves because he's not draining himself. But right now, no. I don't think he can have a lot of success at 35. I had a dream the other night that Hill beat Jones. It was before 283. What does that mean? Aside that, I should stop watching your streams before bed. Yeah, I think you should. But that is, I've had MMA-related dreams before. I've talked about them on stream before. But yeah, maybe it's just listen to me on your bedside is what's doing you in with the MMA dreams. Hill ain't beating Jones, though. I think Jones would smash Hill. Isn't it crazy that Garbrandt versus Figgy was confirmed fight at one point? Yep, November of 2020. I would have taken Figgy in that fight because I wouldn't have trusted Cody Garbrandt's chin. dragged his ass on the carpet. Still makes me laugh. Dude, did Claudio Puelles not drag his ass like a dog? I think that's what he was doing. How sick was that knee on McKinney? How legit are the Brazilian bros? It remains to be seen, but we'll see when they fight some elite level competition. But that was a great performances by both guys. The Bonfim brothers. Gane and Ngannou seem to change the game from the big boys with big punches to proportional athletes. I mean, I guess you could say they're new breeds of heavyweight, but Ngannou is just a freak of nature. Gane is super well-rounded and kind of light on his feet, so they're different. They're definitely different. And that knee was sick that Ismail Bonfim landed, for sure. Gilbert Burns versus Colby or Masvidal, which is more likely? I'll say it's going to be Gilbert Burns versus Masvidal, but who knows? Masvidal likes to go out there and pretend like he's into politics and shit. You know, he's running for office or some shit. So, to be honest, at this point, I never want to see Jorge Masvidal fight again. He can go beat dudes up on the sidewalk, for all I care. He's irrelevant to the welterweight division. Figgy is my guy. Unfortunately, I think his best days are behind him. He's 35 years old. When you get to an advanced age at a lower weight class, it never ends well. Never ends well. Hopefully, Rakic comes back this year so he can be back in the title picture. Yeah, I don't even know. Did they ever just fully disclose what his injury was? But yeah, my prediction at the beginning of 2022 was that Rakic would be a champion at the end of 2023. If Lauren Murphy was number 4 in her division, that division is in desperate need of talent. She's tough as nails, but not a threat to anyone but her grandkids. Dude, the talent pool at 25 and 35 and 45 is not great. Do you think RoboCop's loss has an asterisk from it being short notice? A little bit, but at the end of the day, I mean, you got clipped. It is what it is. But, you know, that chin could never be the same again. But I think it is less meaningful because it was on short notice. He took a totally different opponent on a week's notice. Brad Tavares is not a power puncher by any means. McKinney is a knee magnet. He's been KO'd by knees 3 times. Yeah, I remember the Charles Woodson KO. And now the Bonfim KO. What's your early prediction for Cody versus Julio Arce? I'm leaning Arce. I'm going Cody Garbrandt. It's my last. If he loses, it's my last time picking him. At 35, I think he'll be a little bit rejuvenated. And I wish the Ronnie Yaya fight would have happened. It was an easy win for Cody Garbrandt. Julio Arce is not an easy fight, though. And especially when you have a massive off button on your chin. Is Paul Craig the light heavyweight Puelles? He's worse. He's worse. But yes. Do you think Francis will ever fight in the UFC again, or is there too much bad blood? It's possible, but it's not going to be for a while if it does happen. Do you think Jailton Almeida should go back to 205 or stay at heavyweight? I think he should stay at heavyweight. Heavyweight's less deep. Neither division is particularly deep, but I think he can have more success at heavyweight. You can tell that dude didn't want to be in there that night. I feel for him, but at the point, go out on your shield and completely embarrass himself with all that ass dragging. Dude would have been better off just tapping on the mat and saying, I'm done. Pull a Nick Diaz. Nick Diaz quit mid-fight in the Robbie Lawler fight. Nobody said that. Nobody said it but me. He quit mid-fight. Jamahal Hill showed how much he has progressed in overall MMA skills. Anyone who says he'll be an easy opponent versus anyone in top 5 is not giving him enough credit. Yeah, Jamahal Hill's super well-rounded. People kept saying, Thiago Santos took him down. There's not one time that Thiago Santos cemented the position. Every time, Jamahal Hill scrambled back to his feet almost immediately. So, I think Jamahal Hill, his biggest weakness is his defensive striking, honestly. His offensive striking looks really good. His defensive striking leaves a lot to be desired. Guys with nasty power can put him to sleep, for sure. So against Yuri, he's going to be in trouble. Magomed Ankalaev with his head kick could be in trouble. Jan Blachowicz would be a bad matchup for Jamahal Hill even. I would even possibly favor Jan Blachowicz over Jamahal Hill. I'm not saying I would pick him, but there's a chance I would. Just because I would say that's Jamahal Hill's biggest weakness at this point is his defensive striking. Everything else is looking very, very good as far as Jamahal Hill's skill set. What's crazy is Valentina wrecked both Andrade and Murphy. That is true. And didn't she rip Caitlin Chukagian too? Oh, I'm dumb. Yeah, of course she did. Dude, Valentina's just beating people's asses. For sure. I had high hopes for RoboCop. I didn't have super high hopes for him just because he's 30. He looks like he's 50. He takes a lot of damage. He's eventually going to catch up to you and you're going to get KO'd. Is Julio a power puncher? Don't know much about him. He has decent power. I mean, he's not knocking guys dead in like the first round, but let me look up what his recent fights are. I don't remember. But he has some decent speed as well. He has 5 wins by knockout. He said, no, I wouldn't really consider him. He TKO'd Andre Ewell. He head kick KO Julian Erosa. But yeah, he's not particularly known as a power puncher, but he does have some decent finishing power. If that makes sense. And Cody Garbrandt's chin is just terrible. Bonfin versus Dober, early prediction. I think Bonfin finishes him. All the damage that Dober's taken is eventually going to catch up to him. I say Bonfin, second round TKO. You think Brad Riddell comes back? He will eventually. How good is Pavlovich, potential champ? He's very good, but the lack of grappling, I think Curtis Blade beats him. I think Cyril Gane beats him. I think Jones beats him. So I'm going to say future title contender, maybe. Future champ, no. But he can sleep anyone. He's got power in both his hands. But he's just super one-dimensional. It hurts that we'll never get Glover versus Yuri too. I think if Yuri fought a safer game plan against Glover, he would wreck him badly. So maybe it's for the best. But I know what you mean. It does kind of hurt. I want to see Bonfin versus Poirier. I think you're jumping the gun on that one a little bit. They can do Jalton Almeida versus Marcin Tybura next. I think Marcin Tybura has a fight coming up. So he'll have to win that fight first. I can't remember who he's fighting. Are you interested in seeing Nate fight Jake Paul? No. Valentina basically beat everyone, to be honest. Yeah, that is true. We'll see if she can beat Alexa Grasso. I'm so hyped for that one. That should be a barn burner, slobber knocker. I can't wait. Oh, yeah. I'm so excited. I don't think anyone at light heavyweight would take the beating Glover took. Reyes would be out 20% into that beating. Dude, Reyes would have got finished in the first round. Did RoboCop lose yesterday? Yes, he did. I'm a fan of Alexa Grasso. It sucks to see her get beaten up live. I'm going to 285. Maybe she pulls it off. Best UFC poster this year? I mean, there's been 2. So I'll say UFC 283, but I don't know. Who do you think retires? I don't know why you sent it 3 times. Who do you think retires next this year? Hopefully Tony Ferguson. Where does Nikita Krylov fit into the light heavyweight division? He's the black horse. He's fighting Ryan Spann after that. After that, probably fight someone in the top 10. Probably gets a big fight next. Maybe a main event of a fight night. Valentina by crucifix finish. Would not surprise me. How many more defenses does Aljo need to surpass Bantamweight GOAT Dillashaw? Bantamweight GOAT is Cruz. And I say he needs like 2 to 3 more. I meant last year, fam. My bad. UFC 280. I don't remember all the posters though, so. Thoughts on Ihor emoting on Shogun? Looked like a piece of shit. Looked like an absolute piece of shit. Yeah, so terrible look. You just brutally KO'd a legend of the sport, and now you're showboating. Dude's like 80 years old. I think you just look like a total piece of shit at that point. Hopefully a dead corpse of Tony Ferguson retires this year. Please, MMA gods. Yeah, I don't want to see the dead corpse of Tony Ferguson fight anymore. But knowing the UFC, they'll probably stick him in there with some up-and-coming murderer. They'll probably stick him in there with Ismail Bonfim. I swear to God, I will riot if they do Tony Ferguson, Ismail Bonfim. Big Sean, big ups. Who wins Adesanya versus Hill? I'll say Adesanya via decision. Dillashaw is GOAT. How is it Cruz? Because Cruz, you got to take into account his WEC run as well. They should have a bad hairline card. Magny, Reyes, Ferguson, and Jackson. Dude, Magny's really bad. Ferguson is just gotten worse. Reyes is horrible. Jackson's looked improved in some of the pre-fight for his last fight against Ige. But then live, it looked terrible again. So I don't know. But I think Neil Magny's definitely number one. But I don't want to see that card. I don't want to watch that shit. I'm skipping that one. Tony definitely on them oxys right now. Okay. I need to see Hill versus Blachowicz before Jan is done. Dude, I think Blachowicz probably wins. Honestly, the more I think about it, Blachowicz is just a filthy striker, and Jamal's not going to take him down. You think they feed Robbie to Connor in his return? No. Hopefully not. They got to do something. They can't do that. They can't get away with that. Magny shit is crazy. They need a P. Costa. You think the slap BS thing can cause more brain damage than any other combat sports? I have no idea. I'm not a neurologist. But it definitely doesn't look good for sure. It for sure doesn't look good. Tony and Nate both look bad at UFC 279. Yeah, I think they both look like garbage, to be quite honest. It was horrific to watch. I thought it was the fight to make, but they both looked terrible. They both looked like they didn't train. And Ferguson at least had an excuse. You know, he took a fight on 3 weeks' notice. So at least Ferguson hasn't had an excuse. I don't know why I started there 18 times. And people forget that. So I wonder what Ferguson will look in his next fight. With a full camp, hopefully. The UFC did him a massive disservice by giving him a fight on 3 weeks' notice against Li Jingliang. He would have got brutally finished. Ihor looked like a piece of shit for taunting Shogun. Dude is literally 100 years old in fight years. Definitely looked awful there. Exactly, they looked so slow. Yep. It was sad, and that was a UFC pay-per-view main event. McGregor versus Chandler for International Fight Week. It may happen, it may not. We'll find out. I don't even know if McGregor's got to rejoin the USADA pool. He's got to join in the next 2 weeks. Max 3 weeks, depending on when International Fight Week is, because you have to be in the pool for 6 months. So technically, he would already had to join, really, because International Fight Week will be the first week of July. So he's going to be cutting it close. The UFC might give him like a 2-week exemption. So it could still happen, but if they give him an exemption, it's going to be a bad look. So I don't think they will. So McGregor probably won't fight till August. If you had to bet to think Mac comes back against Chandler, ? It's going to be Chandler or Masvidal, I would say. Gun to my head. But it wouldn't surprise me if they do Tony Ferguson either. Yeah. I'm going to do first Muay Thai tournament this February 18th. Good luck, my friend. Good luck, Eric. I hope you have massive success. Joey, what's up, bro? What's up? Any action? What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Appreciate your support. How's everything going on your channel, my friend? You think they ever do Mac Masvidal? Yeah, I do. I think that's the biggest fight they can make right now for McGregor that's winnable. And Masvidal, that's the fight he wants. So that could be like a big announcement coming in the next month or two. Maybe July or August. But 6 months, I mean, you're looking at July 22nd now. But maybe the UFC will give him like a 2-week exemption. It won't be as egregious. Well, he was in the pool for pretty much close to 6 months. But gun to my head, it's probably going to be McGregor Chandler. But honestly, it wouldn't shock me if they gave him the dead corpse of Tony Ferguson. I doubt he comes back against Masvidal. You think they do Mac Patty sometime? No, they probably don't do that. They're not going to try to kill off Patty that easily. Dude, McGregor, especially PED McGregor, would smash Patty Pimblett. How long will Hill hold the light heavyweight belt? I'll say the rest of the year. I hate how people say they'd rather see Masvidal versus Burns instead of Burns versus Colby. Masvidal is an easy win for Burns. That is true. I want to see Burns versus Bilal and Colby versus Hamzat. But you got to get Colby out of that witness protection house first. I really don't understand the reason behind the UFC trying to match Tony versus Leach. Leach would have knocked Tony out. Agreed. Yeah. Leach would have brutally KO'd him. I'm so glad that fight didn't happen. Thank you, Hamzat Chimaev. I'm literally going to bulldoze the Apex if they sacrifice the dead corpse of Tony Ferguson to Conor. Dude, that's going to be heartbreak. I'm not going to lie. I'm not watching that. If that happens, I'm not watching that. In all honesty, given the age, I don't think Masvidal has looked that bad. I mean, he's fighting elite competition, so. Is UFC ever going to stop sending out UFC legends for meaningless slaughter like they did with Shogun? No. They will never not. Broken leg McGregor can beat Patty. I said that in a video. Do you remember that? I forgot about that. I think Hill defeats Ank, Yuri, and Alex. He could. Hill's very good. Joe, did you get some good sleep? I got all right sleep. I slept from about 4 a.m. I went to bed about 4 a.m. And I woke up for like a half hour at like 8. But then I went back to sleep till about 11. So I slept all right. I'm not the greatest. I'm going to get some good sleep tonight, though. I already got a video done on the channel. I jumped on a stream here. So I'm ahead of the game. And just looking to continue to pump out stuff. So I got the video I need to do. Sometimes I'll slack and maybe not do anything on Sunday because I'm brain dead. Dude, I was so tired this morning, though. Masvidal got outstriked by Colby. Yeah, but Colby's volume in wrestling is what caused that to happen. They should sacrifice Tony to Grant Dawson. Fuck Grant Dawson. Calling out the dead corpse of Tony Ferguson. That was an embarrassing call out. Do you think Glover is sore right now? For sure. I also think Johnny Walker is sore, but not for the same reasons. Pause. But yeah, dude, Glover's got a massive migraine right now. He probably didn't leave his bed today. Dude was just beat to a pulp. Absolutely beat to a pulp. It was hard to watch. It's hard to watch for sure. Saw Glover's pick with bandages after the hospital. He looked like he'd been hit by a truck. That is true. Looked like he had been hit by a truck. Just absolutely brutalized. Absolutely brutalized. Let me see what we got here. I feel bad for Glover. Dude just wanted to win his belt. And, what is this? Dude just wanted to win a belt back and got smashed. Got smashed by, Jamahal Hill. You should be jailed for life. Dude, he should be cut for calling out Tony Ferguson. If you call out Tony Ferguson, you should be cut for sure. You could give him 3 rounds, 10-8. Yeah, you really could have. Rounds, I think it was 2 and 3. Or it might have been 3 and 4. I can't remember. Fights you want to see next this year. I have an entire video, top 10 on that. It'll be in the description of the video I'm about to release. So there's a bunch of them. There's too many to list. But I'll tell you one of them. It's Islam Makhachev, Beneil Dariush. I hope the UFC gives Bo Nickel the toughest fights they can find him. No. They're giving him Jamie Pickett. He's fighting Jamie Pickett at UFC 285. All right, guys. I'm going to release this video. I'm going to post it in the chat for you guys. You guys will be the first to see this video here in a second. And it says check still running. All right, guys. I'm posting it in the chat. Go like, comment, watch it all the way to the end, all that good stuff. Like this stream. Before you go, like this stream. Subscribe to this channel. I'm going to release my what's next for Jamahal Hill versus Brandon Moreno video. I'm going to post the link in the chat for you guys. Immediately go like it, comment on it, all that good stuff. I would greatly appreciate your support. And thank you guys for joining me tonight. I'm going to get off. The link is in the chat. Thank you guys for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your night. Good night.